This pattern alteration is lengthening the crotch depth. That's the area from the crotch line to the waist, if you're longer through this area. The measurement does not show up on the pattern envelope under finished garment measurement, so you need to measure it yourself. Find the waistline mark, find the crotch line mark for the correct size, and I'm doing the medium, so I look at the medium size, and put your tape measure or a ruler and measure that. This one shows that it is 11 5/8, okay? So that is what I write on my chart, okay? Under finished garment measurements, crotch depth, I will put 11 and 11 5/8. Now, let's suppose that the person who's making these pants has a crotch depth of 12 inches and 5/8. Well, that's a difference of 1 inch. And we want to lengthen that. So we would put a +1 here in the alteration column. That will cue us in that we need to make an alteration in the crotch depth area. So with our pattern, this is where we're going to be lengthening. I do something though before I cut this pattern apart, and that is to lengthen the grain line. I like to have that extend above where I'm going to cut. That helps me true up my separated pattern pieces. So do that first. The pattern shows you to shorten by folding on the shortening line, and to lengthen, cut along the dotted line. Well, since I put in this grain line up here, I'm going to go ahead and just cut all the way through this bottom line, the shortened line. And we'll cut the pieces apart. You will want one of these cardboard pattern grids. That works really nicely so that you can pin your pattern down, and then it won't be moving all over the place. It's best to put your pins at an angle. So pin that into place. And then we have some tissue paper, and you're going to slide that under about a 1/2 inch. And then repin. And tape, okay? Pinning just helps keep the tissue down. There's static on that, and it wants to lift up when you put the tape down. Now our alteration chart says we're going to add 1 inch. So now I'm going to take the pins out and measure 1 inch above my cut line. And I'm also going to continue that grain line once again. Hopefully you can see that 1 inch line. Now we'll take our top piece, line up both horizontal and vertical. So there's my grain line. Here's my 1 inch line. Everything should stay flat. I'm kind of on a bump on this cardboard, so that's why it looks like it's buckling a little bit. And then tape it down. And remember, what you do to the back leg, you need to do to the front leg, so that both are the same. Okay, we need to true up our sides here. So go ahead and take your pins out. We'll start on the hip. True that up. Looks like one is sticking out just a little bit more than the other. You could use a curved ruler if you needed to. Depends on the shape of your side here. And then over here, we want to also line this up, okay? It's slightly off, so we are just barely going to trim some of this off right here. And then take your scissors and trim off the excess. Now for the size medium, we're using this line down here. So we'll just come and cut this. We want that line blended. And then do the same thing on the side. I actually need another piece of tape. There we go. Trim that off. Now you've got a pattern that's going to fit you, and it can be used multiple times.